Hey everyone, Jason here for ChartGuys. We're going to take a look at our coronavirus names. I hope you guys are all staying safe and doing your social distancing and making sure that you're doing everything you can to take care of your family and friends around you. Some people in my family have been impacted by the coronavirus and things aren't looking great. I may update everybody as that becomes required, but please just watch out for each other. There's so much that we can do by just doing very, very little. And that, by which I mean, just make sure you're washing your hands, make sure you're respecting the rules and regulations that your local authorities are asking you to do, and you can just really save a lot of lives by helping stem the spread. So do whatever you can, take care of yourself. I hope you guys are safe. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these names. So what I am starting to notice in some of these coronavirus names is that the correlation to fear is not as strong as it used to be. And that is because that creeping normality, that idea that we've been chatting about for the past few weeks, where these tickers are responding to big outbreaks and to lockdowns, used to move the price a lot. It doesn't have that impact anymore because everyone has sort of accepted that this is the current normal. We're going to have lockdowns, we're going to have curfews, we're going to have restrictions on gatherings. And the more we see this sort of news, the less of an impact it has on both us psychologically and on the markets. So what we're going to see is a shift of interest in the movement of these names to actual results and impending discoveries and vaccines and tangible developments in these companies. That's going to be more of a driver now than the inverse correlation that we used to have to SPY or to the fear headlines and the psychological responses to those. So with that in mind, we're going to start taking a look at NVAX. And we're going to check out some price action and see what looks the strongest, what doesn't. And of course, we're going to stick to the names we have covered so far. If there are better names, because as I said, I think we're shifting into this biological development of vaccines or treatments or what have you. If there are better names for that you guys want to cover, let me know. And then maybe I'll just do 2 rounds of videos and we'll see who looks the best and take it from there. But anyway, NVAX on the daily time frame, we have important resistance at $10.80. Bulls are seeing a little bit of profit taking today. So based on the run that we have seen between the low and the current high day today, it's likely to see an equilibrium. We'll have to see what sort of momentum is going into the end of the day. But 677 is going to be a key support and 1080 is going to be a key resistance inside this trading range. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we've broken this hourly downtrend and 4-hour downtrend, depending on how you're looking at it. And now we have high day resistance from pre-market, or actually no, from today, 1019. So there's a few ways we can look at this action. It might look a little bit better on the hourly time frame, but this could be an hourly bull flag. However, what really matters for the short term is that we hold our confluence over EMA 12 and our EMA 8. That's a blue and yellow line here. If we lose that, we're likely to go back down and break or test 677 or that area. Anything over top of that is going to be still a 4-hour higher low because we have not consolidated well since then. Bulls optimistically want to hold this conjunction of the EMA 12 and 8 and see continued upside. But those are our key resistances right now on the bigger time frames. If we go into the hourly time frame, a little bit too extended for a bull flag, in my opinion. It would basically need to break right away. And because we still have trading action in after hours, we're unlikely to see a really quick breakout. So opening in this range is probably the most ideal outcome, what we could see, hope for. And then if we do, we need to see bulls break 1019 pretty much right away. A rejection from that would have us looking for 4-hour consolidation tomorrow. We're going to take a look at LAKE. So LAKE has been trading inside a nice little trend here. We'll see if we can draw that out. But we are holding EMA 12 and EMA 8, which is good. And we have some supports. Those supports are going to come in the form of a trend line. And ultimately, we have our major daily support at 1430. And then another one just below that at 1338. Resistance is going to be the top of the trend or high of day of the previous candlestick. In this case, we're looking at 1880. And then we also have some resistance not too far beyond that on the daily time frame at 1930 from March 3rd. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, we start to see that development of our 4-hour uptrend. So here's our high, here's our higher low, lower high. So already you can see that we have the potential for a 4-hour equilibrium. So if we lose that important EMA or daily EMA 812 resist or confluence support, we're likely to see a new hourly downtrend, in which case we want to see a 4-hour higher low form over top of 1430. That would give us a beautiful 4-hour equilibrium and would show us a lot of potential for continued upside here. If we go continued upside, some upside. On the hourly time frame, we've lost hourly higher lows, so we're looking for that consolidation, and we have ultimately some support right around 1550. Check out CODX on the daily time frame. We opened strong, but we saw almost no optimism from the bulls. It was a Marabuzzo candlestick with our high day and our open both at $13. So no strength from the part of the bulls today. And we had a close right at our EMA 8 and EMA 12. We can see that our range is very, very wild at the moment. So we do have extreme ranges between resistance and support, which means we need to focus primarily on our short-term time frames. Right now, the support on the daily is going to be at $8.32, and then 13 psychological is going to be important. Also, we need to be paying attention to 1377. On the 4-hour time frame, we have the potential for an equilibrium. And we know that because we've got our low, our high, higher low, lower high. So we do have a tightening range there. Something very, very noteworthy to watch. So what we want to see is going to be a 4-hour higher low over what is our level? Over $8.32. Then we need to see a lower high underneath the high of 1488. And what we want to do with this is build out a nice little 4-hour equilibrium. So a tightening range. And the tighter that gets, the better it would be for an explosive move in either direction. We don't know which direction it's going to come, but it's like a coiling spring. So that the volume remains relatively steady, but we see that compression of price range, and eventually something breaks and we see a quick move. That's what we want to see. So longer this develops, the better. If we lose 832, it's just going to be a new 4-hour downtrend, and we'll play it as such. But we want to see bulls close over $8.32 to establish a 4-hour higher low. On the daily time frame for VIR, this is one of the strongest names so far. I would have liked to see a more bullish close. We are now in the area of very, very little resistance on the daily time frame. $75 was the high of that initial skyrocket move. And if we had a more optimistic close, I would be looking bullish into this area. This is an indecision candlestick as a spinning top, which doesn't really tell us a lot. It's nice that the bulls managed to close it, but it still shows us that the bulls and the bears both have some strength and some conviction to move the price pretty dramatically inside this trading action. So what we have today is our daily support at 43.03 for our low of day, and then we've got a little bit of support in the area of 33.10, and we have that from the low of day on March 13th, and then we have got the low of day at 34.50 in the next day. So there is a zone of support there. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we are in a nice hourly trend, and if we zoom into that hourly, we can probably start to make out a little bit of a wedge. And it's probably not going to be quite perfect, but what I'm looking at is this resistance line. So we do see a consistent rejection from that trend line resistance. And then what we're going to try and do is just fit and see what makes the most sense for an hourly support. Now it's very close to a trend, but we are getting a tightening range here. So that may be something to watch. I wouldn't be trading this break just on a loss of the support. What I would want to see would be the loss of hourly higher lows and the expectation of 4-hour consolidation. But we are, again, in an area of very, very little resistance. If bulls wanted to make a very, very strong move, and the timing and the news and everything came together, there's so little in the way of a quick bull move that we could very easily see a highly volatile spike to the upside. So keep an eye on that. A little bit of mixed bag of counter indicators, but ultimately what we need to keep an eye on is the fact that we are still setting up 4-hour higher lows. We're looking at hourly higher lows, and we're getting into an area of very, very little daily resistance. NVAX on the daily time frame, 1019 resistance. We have 677 for our low. 1080 is going to be our daily high, and I feel like I may have done this one already. And I think I have. Let's take a look at APT then. APT is going to be interesting because we've got ourselves an inside bar in the daily time frame, which is giving us a nice tightening range. So we are above our EMA 26. We are just below the confluence of our EMA 12 and our EMA 8. So what we want to do is open up inside this range. And just like I talked about this tightening range on the 4-hour time frame for CODX, it's the same idea that applies to the tightening range on our daily time frame. That compression, that squeezing of the price range combined with relatively stable volume means that you're going to see a break, and it's just that coiling power. So a daily inside bar is often indicative of the same sort of price action we're seeing on CODX. But let's take a look as we zoom in on the 4-hour time frame. Here we go. There's our low, our high, higher low, lower or higher low, lower high, and we see that tightening range, a ping-ponging action back and forth, but ultimately coiling up. So 14 resistance, 1156 is our support. What we want to do is open up inside this range and break one of those levels with good, strong conviction. On the hourly time frame, doesn't quite look like a good equilibrium here, but we still have that important range. Right now we are in an hourly downtrend with 1156 support. Bulls need to establish more of an upside move to try and lock in a new higher low. But that is the action I'm seeing today. Again, if you guys have other tickers that you want to cover, maybe we'll expand our knowledge base about coronavirus tickers. Maybe it'll be a vaccine video. Maybe there will be a treatment video. I'm not sure. I'm open to new tickers. Let me know what you guys got, what you want covered, and we'll take it from there tomorrow. Until then, please be safe. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And take care of your capital.